All right, so this is the scene that we're going to be working on. We're going to do it together. And so I wanted to show you, just like any scene, you just double click on the scene and loads up into the picture. And then of course there's this little border, goes all the way around, and that determines what you're going to see when you record. And you can turn off the scene just like that, leaving just the one actor still on there. And you turn them off too. Okay, they don't go anywhere, they're still there, all behind the scenes now. Okay, so let me show you what one of these backgrounds would look like then. If you started putting just the pictures, basically a layered set of images. Okay, and this is the New York where they live. And then, of course, there's exercise equipment. You can move any of these parts around and rearrange. Every single thing is an item that can be moved around or changed. You can make it to where the windows are frosted. You didn't want to see. This is the other thing I wanted to show you. When you don't want anything to be moved around when you're working with your actors, just do that, and that locks everything. And you can still work with the item. You just have to select it from over here. But if you're on the screen and you select on one of these, or you select on anything, it's not going to grab it and accidentally move it when you were just thinking that you were selecting your actor. Okay, so that's pretty important to know that. But anytime you do want to work on a specific item, you just click it, and you'll see that where it is in the group, it'll highlight itself. So you can kind of figure it out, which one is which. Okay, I think that all makes pretty common sense. All right, so basically last night I moved Amber onto the scene in her new blue dress, and we're going to come down here into the timeline, click this second button, and this just isolates it down to just the item that's selected. And aha, I don't have Amber selected, I have the treadmill selected. That's right, I was looking at it. And so now we'll do that. Okay, but now if I select anything around here, the only thing on this whole entire scene I can select is her. So that's kind of cool. And we'll get down here, and I want to show you that I put in some walk cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if you haven't been familiar, if you haven't seen any of my other lessons, then you'd want to go back and start watching a couple of the first ones. But putting in a walk cycle was real simple. We started at the beginning, came down here to my content, and I clicked on motion. And in the search box, type it all the time, so I don't even have to type it anymore, but I walk and template. I keep all of my walking motion template side rather than the custom side. One day I will set up custom files, but for right now I'm still figuring out what I like the best. And so I have multitudes of walk cycles in here. Typically you have ones that are your favorites. In this case, I wanted a walk cycle where she was slightly leaning forward. That didn't put you through the whole process of me going through and trying 20 of these before I found the one on the bottom I like the best. Make sure that you get the long walk cycle. And this is the start of a step. This is the actual walking, and this is the end of a step. In this case, I wanted it to loop, and I wanted her to continually walk, so I'm using just this long cycle or loop cycle. Okay, and so I did that, and I double clicked it. It put the first walk cycle in, double clicked it again, double clicked it again, double clicked it again. Then I had enough walk cycles I felt that I could go ahead, and I think I did it 6 times, And then I went ahead and ended my movie right there. Okay. Okay, so then all we're doing when we're watching it is I've clicked this little button here to make it loop. And you'll notice that it's going to come to the end and stop. Okay, so now when we click loop, highlighted red, I'm going to hit the space bar, or I can hit the play button. And I'll let you see the whole entire timeline here. You can kind of see what's going on. Okay, and now I can keep that going. When I do the movie, I can do the same thing. When I'm the editor, I can loop this clip, and it'll look like she's walking on it forever. And Alex can come in and talk to her, and she can say how great it is and all of that. So, okay, good. That's where we're at. And we're going to go ahead now and start adding some more to the scene. I'm going to go ahead and pull the marker out. I usually like to grab a section at a time. It keeps me from going too far down the timeline. So I work with a small section I will potentially record. Okay, so here I'm going to want to have another actor come in, and I'm going to bring them in. So as you can see with Alex, I have him completely standing backwards and also a sidewalk. And I use that where you get more of a glimpse of his face. I like that more. This is completely sideways. And then there's also frontal view. That's not him, but this front side view and then facing completely forward. Okay. And so we're going to grab Alex, who can walk into the room. Only you've seen me last time let him follow this path. And I can show you what happens at a character in the middle of a scene. So just for reference too, I want this point right here to be the very beginning where we're basically left off last time. So here I'm going to come in here and put marker right there. Scooted the marker over now to the beginning point. And so now whenever I hit play, no matter where I am on the timeline, if I'm even here, it's going to actually start playing here forward. And I usually reference to in my mind that we're on frame 306. That's okay. So we have Alex down here, and we'll see what happens when we just start playing. He's not going anywhere. So we're going to remember 3. I'm going to move this back. Show you it. What happens when you move a character in at frame 300 instead of beginning is then you go back to play your movie and you see that now he's doing the full adjustment of the size as if I wanted him to shrink and move backwards on the timeline. That's because I put him in there and the changes start from the Beginning. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to deal with that. And it tricked me quite a while when I first started. All right, so I'm going to go right to frame 306. Move my marker back. You would. Okay, and what I'm going to do when I start a character mid-scene like that, but I want him to act as if I've started him on the beginning of the timeline, is I come in here and I say remove object animation. Okay, and now that's going to take out basically anything that you've created. So watch out that you don't use this when you've already put in a whole bunch of walk cycles and pipe links, and then you go and do that. You'll remove it all. Okay, so here he is. He's now just at the beginning of frame 306 with no motions planned into him or anything. If I hit play, he's just going to stand there. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the beginning here, and you can just barely see that Alex is highlighted, but I don't want to with the view or anything at this point. I'm just going to leave him right there. I'm going to find the walk cycle. Okay, so we got to always go back to template to find our gear, and we're looking for content, template, and if you click the animation icon here, I used to get lost in the file system, but I've gotten really friendly with just doing search. If I click that and then just go down here, anything that I've searched for recently comes up, and there's all my walk cycles, fast as can be. And I can have him walking into the room in just a second. Okay, now you'll see that he's walking sideways. Yeah, we don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to come up here and hit the undo twice. I'm also going to do you a favor and open up. I always make sure that the red is clicked here. That way I'm only looking at whoever's highlighted, which is Alex. And I'm going to go to Alex's motion and click it. And then that way when we put clips into the timeline, we're going to actually see them pop into. Let's move him back now. And I want him to walk forward on a path. I'm going to actually create a path for you.